Do you feel it, warrior? That hollow echo in a room full of people? The chilling silence after you've spoken your truth, only to be met with blank stares or, worse, the conversation simply moving on as if you were never there. It's the feeling of being a ghost at the table of your own life. You contribute a brilliant idea in a meeting, and it vanishes into the ether, only to be resurrected 5 minutes later by a louder voice, who then receives the credit. You are physically present, but your impact is zero. You are a muted frequency in a world-blasting noise at full volume. This is not just a feeling of being overlooked, it is the slow, grinding erasure of your very existence. This battlefield is your daily life, the open-plan office where your voice is swallowed by the corporate hum, the social gathering where you stand on the edge, a spectator to connections you desperately want to make. It's the digital world where your thoughts are just more data drifting in an endless sea. And in the center of this arena stands your true enemy, the saboteur in your own mind. It's the serpent that whispers the great lie, the one you've come to believe. Your voice doesn't matter. Stay quiet. It's safer. They're not listening anyway, so why bother? You just weren't born with it. That voice isn't protecting you. It's building your prison brick by silent brick. And you've listened. You have conditioned yourself into a state of chronic hesitation. You soften your words, you avert your eyes, you retreat at the first sign of resistance. You self-edit your best ideas into oblivion because you fear the sting of dismissal more than the agony of regret. Let's be brutally honest. This weakness is a cancer. It's stunting your career, starving your relationships, and reinforcing the most devastating belief a warrior can hold, that you are fundamentally unimportant. If you do not declare war on this lie today, you will complete your transformation into a ghost, haunted by the powerful. Man or woman you were meant to be. But what if presence isn't a personality trait you are born with? What if it's not a gift bestowed upon the charismatic few? What if I told you that presence is a skill, a weapon, forged in the fire of daily discipline? What if I told you there is an ancient, battle-tested code, a warrior's protocol designed to build an internal structure of such density and power that it radiates an undeniable force? This isn't philosophy for academics in ivory towers. This is the operating system of emperors, generals, and leaders. This is Stoicism. And we are not here to talk about it. We are here to wield it. Before we forge the first weapon, you must prove your commitment. This is not a passive lecture. This is the training ground. Prove your discipline now. Subscribe to this channel and hit the like button. Warriors do not enter the arena half-heartedly. This is your first act of taking up space, of making a mark. Then go to the comments and write your declaration. Your personal phrase of power that will guide this battle. It can be simple: my voice has weight, or I occupy my space without apology. This is your sworn oath. Your first hammer strike against the anvil of your old self. In the next few minutes, I will deliver the arsenal you need. We are going to dismantle the lies that have held you captive. I will give you the 6 iron laws forged by the last great Roman emperor, Marcus Aurelius, a man who ruled the world, but first had to master himself. These are not feel-good platitudes. These are brutal, practical, and effective tactics to build a presence so solid, so real, that it commands respect before you ever utter a word. The war for your own soul begins now. Let's get to work. Let's get one thing straight, warrior. This isn't a personality flaw. This isn't shyness or being an introvert. Those are comfortable lies you tell yourself to make the weakness palatable. Let's call this what it is: a disease. It is the plague of the modern soul, an addiction to the pathetic comfort of the sidelines. You have chosen the safety of the shadows over the risk of the arena. You have traded the potential for glory for the guarantee of not being noticed. This is not a condition you were born with. It is a prison you have built day by day with the bricks of fear and the mortar of inaction. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are a volunteer in your own exile. Look at how this disease manifests in your own flesh and bone. Your body tells the story your mouth is too afraid to speak. Observe yourself, the slumped shoulders, a physical apology for taking up space, the shallow breathing, as if you're afraid to draw in a full lungful of life, the downcast eyes, a constant signal of submission to the world. You move through rooms like a trespasser, hoping not to disturb the air. This is not just body language. This is the architecture of defeat. Your physical form has become a monument to the lie whispered in your ear. I am not important, I do not matter. You are broadcasting surrender on every frequency before the first shot is even fired. Now watch how this poison seeps into your work, your craft, your ambition. You are the quiet professional, the ghost in the machine. You do the work, you have the insights, but your value dies in the silence between your brain and your mouth. You watch, teeth grinding, as your idea, the one you suffocated with self-doubt, is spoken by another and celebrated. You see promotions go to those with half your substance, but double your projection. You call it injustice. I call it cause and effect. The world does not reward hidden genius. It rewards demonstrated value. Your refusal to claim your space is not humility. It is career suicide, paid in daily installments of silence and resentment. And your relationships, they are built on the same rotten foundation. You have become a mirror, a sounding board, a convenience. Because you demand nothing, you receive nothing of substance. You are the easygoing friend who never objects, so your needs are never considered. You are the partner who avoids conflict, so the relationship is built on a fragile piece of unspoken truths. People may like you for your agreeableness, but they will never respect you for your conviction because you have shown them you have none. You have taught the world that your boundaries are suggestions and your presence is optional. This is not connection. It is a slow, agonizing starvation of the soul. This entire ecosystem of failure is sustained by one thing, the saboteur in your mind, that serpent's voice you've mistaken for a protector. It thrives on this weakness. Every time you shrink, you feed it. Every time you stay silent, you strengthen its grip. It has engineered a perfect feedback loop. It whispers that you are invisible, you act invisible, and the world treats you as if you are invisible, proving the lie to be true. It has convinced you that this cage of mediocrity is a sanctuary. It tells you the pain of rejection is worse than the slow, grinding agony of regret. And you have believed it. You even try to sanctify this weakness. You wrap it in the noble cloth of authenticity. You say, this is just who I am. I'm not a loud person. This is the most insidious lie of all. True authenticity is not clinging to your limitations like a security blanket. It is the brutal, relentless process of forging the strongest, most capable version of yourself. Hiding behind a personality label is the ultimate cowardice. It is a preemptive surrender. It is an abdication of your duty to grow, to become the warrior you were meant to be. Your current self is not your authentic self. It is your undeveloped self. So here is the cruel diagnosis, stripped of all comfort. You are not sick with shyness. You are infected with fear. You are not a victim. You are a volunteer. This is not a personality quirk. It is a spiritual rot that is consuming your life from the inside out. The cost is not a missed promotion or an awkward social event. The cost is everything. It is the man or woman you will never become. It is the impact you will never make. It is the life you will never live. You stand at a crossroads, warrior. You can continue to let this disease consume you until nothing is left but a hollow shell, or you can declare war, right here, right now. The choice is yours. Now, you might think this weakness, this feeling of being a ghost, is a modern problem, a symptom of our noisy, distracted digital age. You are wrong. This is not a new disease. It is an ancient rot of the soul, diagnosed over 2,000 years ago by men who faced down legions, ruled empires, and stared death in the face without flinching. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor; Seneca, the statesman; Epictetus, the slave who became a master of men. They were not philosophers in ivory towers, they were battlefield surgeons of the human spirit. They looked across the centuries and saw you, warrior. They saw this exact affliction, and they forged the cure not in gentle words, but in iron principles. The first principle is the brutal foundation of all Stoic power. It is the dichotomy of control. This is the law that separates the warrior from the child. The child screams at the rain. The warrior builds a shelter. You have been screaming at the rain. You are obsessed with what you cannot control, whether people listen to you, whether they like your ideas, whether they give you the respect you crave. You have staked your entire sense of self on the whims and moods of others. The Stoics would call this insanity. It is the strategic equivalent of letting the enemy choose your battlefield, your weapons, and your reason for fighting. Your powerlessness is not a condition inflicted upon you. It is a direct consequence of your misplaced focus. This obsession with the external turns you into a beggar. You stand before the world with your hands out, pleading for scraps of validation, a nod of approval, a moment of attention, a like on a screen. You have become a slave, chained to the opinions of people who likely don't even think about you after you've left the room. Epictetus, who knew real slavery, taught that the most pathetic slave is the one who chains himself to the need for applause. This is the source of your invisibility. You have handed over the authority for your own existence to the outside world. You feel like a ghost because you're waiting for someone else to grant you permission to be solid. The Stoics had a name for the enemy's ammunition: fantasia, or impressions. These are the raw data of life. An event happens. Someone interrupts you in a meeting. This event is neutral. It is a rock falling in the forest, but you don't see the rock. You attach a story to it, a judgment. He interrupted me because my idea is stupid. He interrupted me because I don't matter. That judgment, warrior, is the poison. That is the self-inflicted wound. The saboteur in your mind takes neutral events and weaponizes them against you. Your battle is not against the people who overlook you. Your battle is against the treacherous interpretations you forge in your own mind. This is why you feel so fragile, so easily dismissed. You have no inner fortress. The Stoics called it the inner citadel, a stronghold of reason and principle within your mind that no external event can breach. Your citadel is in ruins. Its walls are crumbling. Every dismissive glance, every unanswered email, every moment of being spoken over is like an enemy soldier walking right through your front gate and setting fire to your command post. You have no inner structure, no command center from which to operate. You are not a warrior defending a fortress. You are a refugee cowering in an open field, exposed to every storm. And so you chase the wrong prize. You chase presence. You chase charisma. You chase the outcome of being respected. The Stoics would tell you these are preferred indifference. They are nice to have, like a favorable wind, but they are not the goal. The only true good, is virtue, excellence of character. Forging a soul of such integrity, courage, and discipline that it becomes its own reward. You want the shadow, the respect of others, without first building the solid object that casts it. This is why every piece of shallow advice like "fake it till you make it" has failed you. You were trying to paint a mural on a rotten wall. So let's complete this diagnosis. Your feeling of invisibility is not a personality flaw. It is a philosophical failure. You have surrendered your sovereignty. You have given away your power. You have forgotten that the universe that matters is the one that exists between your own two ears. The Stoic path is not about learning a new set of social tricks. It is about a hostile takeover of your own mind. It is about reclaiming your inner territory, rebuilding your citadel brick by brutal brick, and re-establishing yourself as the sole commander of your own soul. The Stoics did not offer a comforting hand to hold. They offered a sword. It is time you learned how to use it. All right, warrior. The diagnosis is complete. The enemy is identified. Now we forge the first weapon. This is not a gentle suggestion. This is not a comforting idea. This is the first iron law, the bedrock of the entire Stoic arsenal. It is the law that separates the sovereign from the slave, the warrior from the victim. You will burn this into your mind until it governs every breath you take. We call it the law of sovereign territory. It is brutally simple. There are two domains in this universe: the kingdom you command and the chaos you do not. Your entire life's suffering, your invisibility, your weakness is a direct result of you trespassing in the chaos while letting your own kingdom fall to ruin. Let's be clear about the borders of your kingdom. It is the only territory where your rule is absolute. It is the domain of your thoughts, your judgments, your principles, your choices, and your actions. Inside this citadel, you are the sole authority. You decide what to believe. You decide how to respond. You decide what has value. Everything else is foreign land. The opinions of others, whether they listen to you, whether they like you, whether you get the promotion, the stock market, the weather, the traffic, this is the outer chaos. You have zero direct control there. You are a tourist in that land, not its ruler. For your entire life, you have acted like a king who has abandoned his throne to go beg for food in a foreign country. This is the source of your invisibility. You have staked your sense of self-worth on the shifting sands of other people's approval. You stand before them, metaphorically on your knees, pleading for a glance, a nod, a scrap of validation. You deliver a good idea in a meeting, and then you hold your breath, desperately watching their faces, begging them with your eyes to approve. You have surrendered your authority. You have communicated through every fiber of your being that their reaction is more important than your action. A king who begs is not a king. He is a ghost in his own court. The world feels your lack of a spine, your lack of an anchor in your own territory, and it treats you accordingly. It walks right over you because you have laid yourself down like a rug. This violation of the first law is the saboteur's favorite weapon. It has trained you to obsess over the one thing you can never control: the outcome. Every time you hesitate to speak, it's because you are trying to game the reaction in the foreign land. What if they think my idea is stupid? What if they interrupt me? What if they ignore me? You are trying to be a psychic, not a warrior. You are strategizing about controlling the weather instead of building a stronger ship. This is a game rigged for your failure. It drains your will, paralyzes your action, and guarantees that you will remain small, silent, and safe in your cage of mediocrity. Your fear is not of speaking. Your fear is of an uncontrollable response. The first act of this war, then, is a hostile takeover of your own mind. It is a declaration of independence. From this moment forward, you cease to be a beggar. You return to your own kingdom and you begin to rule. Your focus shifts violently and permanently from the external to the internal. The question is no longer, will they listen to me? The question is now, is what I'm about to say true and aligned with my principles? The goal is no longer, how can I get them to respect me? The goal is now, how can I act in a way that I respect? You must become the sole judge in your own court, and your judgment must be the only one that holds the power of sentencing. This is the great secret of presence, warrior. True presence is not projected outward. It radiates from a dense, solid core. You have been trying to build a house from the outside in, chasing the shadow of respect without first building the object that casts it. Your new work, your only work, is to build that internal object, to forge a character of such integrity, a mind of such discipline, and a will of such resolve that it becomes its own source of gravity. You stop trying to be interesting, and you start being interested. in your own principles, in your own duty. You stop trying to be heard and you start speaking things that are worth hearing. The world's attention is a byproduct, a secondary consequence. It is never the mission. So here is your first standing order, your first non-negotiable command. Carve it into the wall of your mind. I will waste no more of my life's energy on the foreign lands. My focus is the absolute mastery of my own kingdom, my thoughts, my principles, my actions. This is my territory. Here I am sovereign. Here I am unbreakable. Repeat this when you wake up. Repeat this before you walk into a meeting. Repeat this when you feel the old fear creeping in. This is not an affirmation. This is a military directive. The war for your visibility will not be won in the conference room or at the social gathering. It will be won here, in the silent battlefield of your own mind, by enforcing this first brutal and liberating law. All right, warrior, you have the law, a map of your kingdom. But a map is not the territory, and a law is not a weapon until it is bloodied in combat. Philosophy that stays in the mind is a coward's comfort. It is a dead thing. We are here to forge a living weapon. Your life from this moment forward ceases to be a series of random events you react to. It becomes your training ground, your forge. Every frustration, every interruption, every moment of weakness is no longer a problem. It is a sparring partner. It is an opportunity sent by the gods to temper your steel. The transformation does not begin when you feel ready. It begins now, in the dirt and grime of your daily existence. The first battle is declared the second your eyes open. The enemy is the siren song of the snooze button, the warm comfort of the blankets, the seductive whisper of just 5 more minutes. This is the saboteur's first test of your resolve. The old you would surrender, starting the day in defeat, a slave to comfort. The warrior acts. Your feet hit the floor before your mind can negotiate the terms of surrender. You stand. Immediately you assume the posture of principle. Shoulders back, chin up. You are not just stretching your body. You are seizing command of your day. You are physically occupying your sovereign territory. You are telling the universe, and more importantly, your own soul, that you are on duty. This first act of discipline sends a shockwave through your entire being. It is the first hammer strike of the day, and it sets the rhythm for all that follows. Now you walk into the world. The chaos begins. The idiot who cuts you off in traffic, the train that is delayed, the condescending email that lands in your inbox. These are the enemy's probes designed to breach your citadel. The old you would let them in. You would seethe with rage. Your pulse would quicken. Your mind would be hijacked by impotent fury. You would surrender your inner kingdom to a stranger in another car. No more. Now, you see these moments for what they are. Training simulations. You feel the anger rise and you meet it with the law. Is this in my control? No. It is a foreign event. You consciously relax your jaw. You breathe. You refuse to cede your territory. You turn their attempt to poison you into an opportunity to practice your own discipline. Each irritation becomes a rep, strengthening the walls of your inner fortress. Then comes the great beast, procrastination. That monumental task on your desk that you keep avoiding. The saboteur whispers the great lie, I'll do it later when I feel motivated. Motivation is a fickle god for children and fools. Warriors operate on discipline. You will apply the law to your own inertia. The task is not in your control. Your next action is, you will not write the report. That is an abstraction. You will right now perform the smallest possible physical act. You will open the document, you will put your hands on the keyboard, you will write one single sentence. You attack the inertia at its weakest point. You break the spell of inaction with a single sovereign choice. The momentum of 1,000 miles begins with this one, brutal, simple step. And then comes the moment of truth, the arena. You are in the meeting, you are making your point. Someone interrupts you, dismisses you, talks over you. The old you would crumble, the shame, the anger, the retreat. But you are not the old you. You are a warrior in your own kingdom. You do not raise your voice. You do not argue. You do not plead. You hold your ground. You maintain the posture of principle. You keep your calm, unshakable eye contact. You let them finish their noise, and in the silence that follows, a silence you now own, you do not ask for permission. You state your claim. As I was saying, and you finish your point with deliberate calm. You did not demand respect. Your absolute command of your own territory made it the only logical response. You did not win an argument. You shifted the gravity of the room. This forged armor must be tested against real fire. Not just disrespect, but genuine pain, loss, failure. A project collapses. A relationship ends. The world delivers a blow that buckles your knees. The old you would drown in it. You would call it unfair. You would become a victim. The warrior feels the pain. He does not deny it. But he applies the law with surgical precision. He separates the event, the thing that happened, from his judgment about it. The event is external. The pain is real, but his response, his character, his next move, that is his kingdom. He asks the only question that matters: what is my next virtuous action? He uses the crushing weight of tragedy not as an excuse to break, but as a forge to create a stronger version of himself. He turns poison into medicine. Finally, the day ends, but the war does not. The evening is not a retreat into the mindless escapism of screens and distraction. That is a coward's truce. For the warrior, the evening is for sharpening the blade. You will perform a strategic review, 5 minutes, a journal, a moment of brutal honesty. Ask yourself, where did I surrender my territory today? When did I let the chaos breach my walls? Where did I act from weakness instead of principle? Where did I succeed? You are not judging yourself. You are gathering intelligence. You are identifying the enemy's tactics. You are reinforcing your defenses for tomorrow's battle. This is the relentless, daily process of forging a soul. It is not glamorous. It is not easy. It is the necessary, grinding work of becoming unbreakable. And so, what happens after the fire? What is the result of this daily, brutal, relentless work? It is not a sudden explosion of charisma. It is not a lightning strike of newfound confidence. It is something far more profound, far more permanent. It is a change in your very substance. It is a shift in your internal gravity. The frantic, hollow energy of the ghost, constantly scrambling for a scrap of validation, is replaced by the quiet, dense certainty of a mountain. You stop needing to make noise because your very mass begins to bend the space around you. The change is not loud. It is silent. It is heavy. It is real. Look at your own reflection, warrior. The ghost is gone. Where there was once the apologetic curve of your spine, there is now a straight line of principle. Where your eyes once darted to the floor seeking escape, they now hold a steady, calm gaze, capable of meeting any other without flinching. Your movements, once hesitant and slight, as if trying to disturb as little air as possible, are now deliberate, measured, and economical. Your physical form is no longer a question mark pleading for acceptance. It is a statement of fact. It is a physical claim to your territory on this earth, an unapologetic declaration that you are here, you are solid, and you are not moving. Your voice changes, not in volume, but in density. You find yourself speaking less, not more. The old nervous habit of filling silence with a flurry of words, hoping one of them might land, has vanished. It is replaced by an economy of language. Your words are no longer thrown like pebbles into a pond, hoping to make a ripple. They are placed, one by one, like carefully hewn stones, building an argument, a statement, a truth. And your silence is no longer an absence. It is no longer the void of the invisible man. It is a presence. It is the space you hold for others to reveal themselves, the calm before you deliver the one sentence that matters. It is a weapon of immense power. In the arena, the meeting room, the negotiation table, the physics have changed. You do not demand to be heard. You simply begin to speak, and a space is cleared for you. The loud voices, the ones who once drowned you out, now pause. They find themselves inexplicably wanting to hear what you have to say. The interrupter thinks twice, not out of fear of retribution, but out of a subconscious recognition that they are about to violate a space of genuine authority. People start bringing their most difficult problems to you, not because you have all the answers, but because your presence offers clarity. You have become a fixed point in a world of chaos, and human beings are desperately drawn to such things. This is the great liberation, warrior. The freedom you were seeking was never the freedom to be heard by others. That is still a form of slavery, a reliance on an external master. The true freedom is the absolute soul-shaking indifference to whether they listen or not. You speak your truth because it is the truth. You act with virtue because that is your duty. You do the work because the work itself is the reward. You have severed the puppet strings of external validation. The approval of others is now a pleasant but fundamentally unnecessary byproduct. You have broken the chains you placed upon yourself, and in doing so, you have discovered what it means to be truly sovereign. The most profound change happens in the audience of one. In the quiet moments alone, you will look at yourself with a new kind of vision. The nagging voice of the saboteur, the serpent of self-doubt, has been starved into silence. It has no weakness left to feed on. You are left with a quiet, unshakable respect for the man or woman you have forged. You no longer need the world to tell you that you matter, because you have built a self that you, yourself, cannot ignore. The war was never about them. It was about earning your own allegiance. It was about becoming a leader that you, yourself, would be willing to follow into any fire. This is the inevitable result. This is the consequence of the forge. The world did not suddenly decide to respect you. The world is a mirror, warrior. It can only reflect the truth of what you are. You were once a hollow echo, and it reflected silence back at you. Now, you have forged yourself into a thing of substance, of density, of unshakable principle. And so the world reflects back what it now sees: weight, authority, and presence. You set out to make the world notice you. Instead, you forged a man you yourself could not ignore. And the world, as it always does, simply followed suit. Enough talk. Philosophy that remains in the mind is a coward's indulgence. It is a ghost haunting the ruins of a fortress that was never built. We are not here to collect interesting ideas. We are here to forge weapons and draw blood, the blood of your former, weaker self. The time for diagnosis is over. The time for surgery has begun. We will now install the first piece of your new operating system. This is not a metaphor. This is a physical protocol, a ritual. We call it the posture of principle. This is the 2-minute drill that will close the gap between the warrior you want to be and the ghost you currently are. It is the bridge between abstract virtue and physical reality. Find a space, right now. I don't care if you're in your office, your car, or your bedroom. Stand up. This is your first act of defiance. Plant your feet on the ground, shoulder width apart. Feel the floor beneath you. You are not a leaf in the wind. You are a tree with roots. Now, pull your shoulders back and down. This is not the puffed-up chest of arrogance. This is the settled weight of responsibility. Straighten your spine as if a steel cable is pulling the crown of your head toward the sky. Let your chin be level with the earth, not tilted up in challenge, not tucked down in submission, but square with the world. Let your hands hang loose at your sides, open and ready. This is the physical architecture of a sovereign being. Occupy it, own it. Now, we add the breath. This is not the gentle breath of a sleeping child. This is the breath of command. Inhale through your nose for a slow count of 4. Don't just fill your lungs, fill your core, your center of gravity. Feel your torso expand, solidifying your claim on the space you occupy. Hold that breath for a count of 2. In this pause, there is absolute stillness. This is the moment of pure control, the eye of the hurricane. This is your citadel. Then exhale through your mouth for a slow count of 6. As the air leaves your body, you will consciously expel the poisons, the anxiety, the hesitation, the ghost's fear of being seen. Each breath is a cycle of power. Draw in strength, hold your ground, expel weakness. This is the final, most critical layer. The physical posture is the vessel. The breath is the engine. Now we add the soul. As you stand in this posture, breathing this breath, you will choose one word, your principle for the day, your standard in the coming battle. Let it be integrity, or courage, or discipline, or truth. Do not just think this word, you must embody it. You will visualize this principle as a core of white-hot steel running the length of your newly straightened spine. You will feel the physical sensation of integrity in the solidness of your stance. You will feel courage in your steady forward gaze. You will feel discipline in the controlled rhythm of your breath. For these 2 minutes, you are not a person trying to be virtuous. You are the living, breathing incarnation of that virtue. This ritual is your new non-negotiable. You will perform it for 2 minutes every single morning, the moment your feet touch the floor. It is your morning muster, your personal flag-raising ceremony. You are reporting for duty to your own highest self. But this is not just a morning routine, it is your tactical reset. Before you walk into that meeting where you know you will be challenged, you will find a space, a hallway, an empty office, a bathroom stall, and you will assume the posture of principle for 30 seconds. One breath of command, one mental invocation of your word. You are not psyching yourself up. You are recalibrating your entire being. You are reminding every cell in your body who is in command before you step into the arena. The lecture is over. The time for action is this exact second. I command you, pause this transmission. Stand up, assume the posture of principle. Take 3 breaths of command. Embody your chosen word for 60 seconds. Feel the shift. This is not an exercise in positive thinking. This is a physiological and neurological reprogramming. You are teaching your body what your mind now knows to be true, that you have a right to the space you occupy. You are forging a new default state. This simple, brutal daily act is the first hammer blow. Do it now. The ghost is waiting to see if you are serious. Show it the war has begun. The war is not over, warrior. It has just begun. We have dragged the enemy out of the shadows and into the harsh light of the arena. You now see the ghost you once were, a hollow echo begging for validation in a world that respects only substance. We have exposed the great lie that presence is a gift for the chosen few. It is not. It is a consequence. It is the inevitable result of forging an unbreakable internal core. You have been given the map to your sovereign territory, the kingdom of your mind, your choices, your principles. You now understand that your power does not lie in controlling the reactions of others, but in the absolute, uncompromising mastery of your own. The arsenal is now in your hands. Do not let it rust. The law of sovereign territory is your shield against the chaos of the external world. The posture of principle is the physical declaration of your new reality, the daily ritual that turns philosophy into flesh and bone. The breath of command is your anchor in the storm of emotion and distraction. These are not concepts to be admired. They are weapons to be wielded daily. The forge is never cold. Every morning you wake, every challenge you face, every interaction you have is another hammer strike, another chance to temper your steel or let it grow brittle with inaction. Discipline is not an event, it is a lifestyle. Let this truth be burned into your soul. The respect of others was never the prize. It is a shadow, a ghost, a secondary effect. The true victory, the only victory that matters, is earning your own allegiance. It is the quiet, unshakable knowledge that you are living in accordance with your own highest code. You set out to make the world notice you. That was the mission of a slave. The mission of a warrior is to forge a man he himself cannot ignore. When you achieve that, the world has no choice but to follow suit. You don't chase respect. You become the thing that respect is naturally drawn to. This is the great liberation. And so, we end with a decree. This is not a suggestion. It is your new law, your final command to your own soul, the motto that will carry you through every fire from this day until your last. Let it be the first thing you think upon waking and the last thing you remember before sleep. Your decree is this: I am the sovereign of my soul. My presence is not a request. It is a fact. My principles are not negotiable. Say it, feel it, live it. This is the final word that silences the saboteur forever. This is the foundation of your new citadel. If this battle has ignited a fire within you, then prove it. Your training continues now. Go to the comments and write the phrase that will guide your next 24 hours, your personal decree. This is your public oath. Share this transmission with another warrior who is lost in the shadows and needs to be called to the forge. Subscribe to this channel to continue your training. The discipline is daily. The war is eternal. We will see you in the arena.